This is a commercial, a fake commercial. This was made by Nicole Shanahan. This is RFK Jr.'s VP candidate. And she said, "My team never sleeps," and they made this.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump Derangement Syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history and who offers no policy or vision for America simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing Independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, Independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
and I instantly believed it. With Independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, Independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of Independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With Independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if Independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
I just want to point out how I love that Democrats radicalized RFK Jr.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to run as a Democrat. He called Columbus Day Indigenous Peoples Day. He got relatively irked that I brought that up and said, "Oh, Tim, you're losing your credibility when you say that." I don't know. And he's progressive. He was for gun control. He runs as a Democrat. The Democrats cheat, keep him and Shanahan off, sue them into oblivion to block them, and basically it wasn't a. I don't want to say the joke. It's crass, okay? But they say it's in this instance. You don't call it a red pill. You'd call it something else. But it was let's just call it a big red pill. Let's call it that.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll just tell you. They call it the red suppository.
Oh,
When you get red pilled in a short amount of time to an extreme degree.
Okay, sure.
They're basically saying the Democrats took it and just
Right up. Yep. Okay.
But for real, it's like RFK's been going at this for less than a year, right? Like his campaign, he was trying to run in a primary, and he would have won a primary, and so they colluded to keep him out, and then they try to censor him. They censored him during COVID, and he's sitting here being like, "What is going on?" Like,
Trying to take it off the ballot.
But I think Shanahan's the stronger red pilled voice. 4.4 million views on this commercial.
Who knew she was? I had no idea she was this based.
She's an independent. She's moderate, right? And so she wants to run as a Democrat, and the Democrats lie, cheat, steal, censor, support Big Pharma, do all these things. And then I think they just snapped. They were just like, this MAGA.
I think you can hear it in her
RFK tweeted what MAGA was.
I think you can hear it in her voice. Like when she did the interview right before RFK withdrew, she sounds like betrayed. Like the party that you had been, the party that she had patroned, that she had supported, it wasn't just like, oh, we don't like you, we're not going to support you. They went above and beyond to make it more difficult and to try and bring down their efforts because there are conversations I guess the Democrats don't have.
I mean, every single walkaway story has betrayal as the common theme. Whether they say it or not that's what it feels like, because you felt like you were on the right side. This is the party of compassion. We're for women. We're for minorities. It's a betrayal. It feels like a punch in the gut. And that's why, whether you call it a walkaway story or not, like that's the common thing. And it's like what Elon Musk said, that I didn't leave the party, or whatever that meme that he posted. I mean, yeah, Democrats are radicalizing people to be quote unquote right wing, whatever that means, just to be not Democrats anymore. So
maybe they're pulling an Ozymandias from Watchmen. You guys know that reference?
No.
So, spoiler alert for a graphic novel from the 80s. He simulates an alien invasion killing tens of millions of people to end the Cold War. So he intentionally, then he plays the villain, but for the purpose of forcing,
So it's something good they're doing for us.
I mean, he's evil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he murders his it's utilitarianism in this story. He simulates an alien invasion because the U.S. and Soviet Union are on the verge of nuclear annihilation. And so by having an alien attack the world, it forces the U.S. and Soviet Union to unite against a common enemy. And so maybe Democrats just seem so apocalyptically bad and evil. It's because they're trying to unite liberal and conservative Americans. Because like the fact that RFK Jr., a Kennedy, is now endorsing a Republican, and Trump is a moderate himself, and these former Democrats are all now coming out and supporting Trump. Maybe the end result is the factions of America that were liberal and conservative are now unified. I don't know.
So they know aliens are going to invade us in not too long. They see them coming. So like this is our plan. We got a 10-year plan to get the world together. So what we're going to do is we're going to,
At this
I don't know,
point,
go
aliens are not
radical.
going to unite us.
We're gonna-
Aliens will not unite us at this point.
I just
onlys are only to distract from what Hunter Biden is doing.
Yeah, I don't.
We haven't had one in a while.
I don't think aliens are coming. I'm thinking, I would not be surprised, considering how miserably Democrats have been behaving, like acting, that if someone came to me and said that leadership in the Democratic Party intentionally is sabotaging everything to force as many people into one political party as possible, I'd believe it.
Oh, and then take over
I
that
could believe it.
and go total totalitarian.
Sure, possibly, but they're turning the Republican Party into the big tent party.
Exactly.
I don't know why you'd do that, and I'm like, is it an accident? Probably, I guess. I mean, the simple solution is that they're just really dumb.
It's a very losing strategy.
Maybe, but the thing ultimately comes down to procedure. The election is not about the argument. The election is about procedure. And that's the frustrating thing about Trump being like, I'm going to be this for this policy or that policy. The reason why Kamala Harris sounds like a bumbling moron who spits and sputters and has no idea what she's talking about is because you know what she should do? When she does her next interview, she should just be like half glazed over, just not really paying attention. And when they're like, what's your plan for the first, 100 days? I don't have one. And they're going to go, you don't have one? No. That's not a message going to help you win votes. What do I need to win votes for? Well, you're trying to win the election, right? We're going to win the election. Okay, well, don't you need to convince people? No. We're going to knock on their door, tell them to fill out their mail-in ballot, and we're going to win. So I could literally stand here right now and tell you, I don't care about the American people. Don't matter. We're going to knock on their door. They're not going to hear any of this interview. No one's going to care. And then they're going to vote for me.
That is actually truer than it should be.
Yep.
But they have to keep up appearances.
Yeah,
that's right.
They doesn't seem like they're trying, but they try, I guess.
I would love to do that at some point. I mean, maybe if my life took a different arc, eventually just climb my way up into a political party, run for office, and then just totally go nuts. And then just be like, yeah, we're basically here to steal power. The goal of my campaign is so that I can get insider information and control policy that will allow my friends in Congress and the Senate to stock trade beneficially for their families. And then we're all going to get property out of Martha's Vineyard, and we're going to enjoy, I don't know, like a $200 bottle of champagne. And the middle class can screw off for all I care.
It's so sad, though, because you are actually more right than ever that nobody voted for this person. And here we are. Like, that is crazy. That is crazy that not a single American voted for this person.
For Harris.
Implementation, yeah.
Yeah.
They implemented
so
it.
it is true that no matter what she does, no matter what she says, no matter what her policies are, that's their girl.
Ballot
that's
harvest.
Nuts.
If Trump can't win on procedure, which is the only thing that matters, he can't win. And then the best thing is, so you do an interview, and this would be a great mock interview, right? Just like to make a point. The interviewer says, okay, well, I mean, what if this interview does actually end up going viral and people end up hating you and despising you over it? My response is, it doesn't matter. The governors and the judges in these swing states are going to shift things in our favor no matter what happens. No matter what any Republican does, if they file a lawsuit challenging the results, our ballot harvesters are going to mass produce and sometimes rerun the ballots twice. And then if you file a lawsuit, the Democrat judge who's on our side and wants me to win will just tell you to screw off and you can't do anything about it. And then we'll just arrest anybody who tries to stop us. Next question.
Did you hear about Pennsylvania? That they're counting, they ruled that they're counting ballots that are not dated or dated incorrectly.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So that's another loss.
And that's, well, there's one reason to do that.
What?
Help Harris.
Besides cheating?
So no. There's only one reason.
What is
There's
the reason?
only one reason to count ballots that have incorrect dates, and it is that if the total comes in against you and you've lost, you can then bring in ballots afterwards with no dates, and then. There you go. Count those.
In the CNN interview, they referred to Pennsylvania as a must-win state for Kamala Harris. I mean, if whatever happens procedurally in Pennsylvania is really important because, Trump has a path to victory through the other states. She needs Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yep. Nate Silver said that if she does not win Pennsylvania, her chance of winning is 4%.
And my insight as a Pennsylvanian is it's 50-50 still. Nothing's really changed. If you're voting for Dem, you're voting for Dem. If you're voting for R, you're voting for R. No one I know has changed. Maybe my dad might, because he watched IRL now a little bit since I'm here, so a little convincing. So we might got two extras.
Oh, we
That's
gotta
a really
convince
good
your dad.
idea. All we have to do is bring on people whose families are Democrats onto the show.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's gonna work.
My little.
Yeah,
From
because you're like, oh, my
Pennsylvania,
parents
that's
are
strategic.
Democrats, and you come on the show, and now your parents watch the show.
Right,
They
now
want to see you.
and they understand the truth. They're like, wait a second, that's not what's going on in real life. So yeah.
Well, listen, I've got some Democrat siblings, so maybe we're
Oh, right.
we're
Yeah,
gonna get
but
twofer here. I
You're
don't
in
know.
California, so
it doesn't matter.
we need Pennsylvania specific
Fair enough.
people.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. We're not using the show to lobby.
You said at the beginning of the show that you were an atheist, but you're not an atheist now.
No.
What happened there? How did you move from being an atheist to not atheist?
It's weird. My political shift came first. It was just listening to conservative voices, honestly. A lot of actually Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager, who are not Christians. And I was...
But you are Christian now.
I am Christian, yeah. I was unhappy in my life before COVID, and I was feeling very purposeless and unfulfilled. So there was that emptiness before COVID, and I feel like COVID highlighted the cracks that were already there. The response to COVID, I'm sorry, I should be clear. I don't like when people do that. The response to COVID highlighted the cracks that were already there. And I just kind of started listening to these different voices, and I realized, oh, there's actually a different way to live. There's a better way to live. There's a way to live with more wisdom. And I became a Christian because I was listening to so many conservative people, and it was very hard to go back to church because they were all closed in LA. A lot of them were. There was one that I know of that fought and stayed open.
Interesting
So that was
how that happened when people were starting to reevaluate their lives.
Yeah,
Churches were closed.
That was a big
But
mistake.
when you started hearing from, Prager and Shapiro, they're Jewish.
Yeah.
Were they making arguments for God that was convincing and compelling to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That for God and really just for I think a different way to live, because I knew the way that I was living was not correct. And so because I couldn't go to church, I just started, I was raised Catholic, I should say that, but I had left for a very long time. So I just started opening my Bible. It was just being around this culture, not that, oh, this is what I have to do, but just these people seem happier. They seem more joyful, to use the word of the hour, and they seem more fulfilled in their lives. I want what they are having, and that is God. So why are you laughing at me?
No, that's a good feeling. It's good. It's nice to
yeah.
have a warm heart. I
Yeah.
agree.
And that's why we do have to be Christians. We already know this, but Christians need to be in politics, because sometimes, like me, I was not a Christian first, and then I was like, well, obviously I'm going to vote Republican. I was a conservative first, a Republican, or I started leaning this way, and then I became Christian. So sometimes the switch is reversed, and so we shouldn't discount being in the culture war and being in politics, because I think that the way policies happen, it brings people to God. It wins souls for Christ. I mean, it did with me,
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not a Christian, but I think with wisdom and actually trying to listen and understand and understand the reality comes a better understanding of God. Mm-hmm. And so it's weird that there's a lot of people that tweet that I'm an atheist, and it's like the weirdest thing, because I'm like a fervent pro-God, but just not into any organized religion.
I mean, they tweet everything about you. So
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
No, if you listen,
like
it's clear
conservatives,
you're not atheist.
Conservatives calling me an atheist is the weirdest thing.
it's
Okay,
the
oh,
security people.
It may be because,
People want to whine.
but it's because I don't follow Christianity, and so they view that as atheism, I guess. I don't know.
I'm a really bad Christian. I'm bad. So maybe I'm more like you. I don't know what I believe, but
Do you go to church?
I do, but not as frequently as I should. Honestly, the churches being closed in LA really did a number on me. I can't really stomach that. All the Catholic churches were closed. I have a problem with that. Pardon me, but
I love church. I grew up going to Catholic Mass, and I have fond memories of everyone's there. They were singing. On Sunday, they would have a potluck afterwards. They were very fun family things. I'm just not a Christian. I don't feel it would be right for me to go and attend something as a community thing. But this is why when we're doing the coffee shop stuff, I want to get these locations, as many as we can, all over the country, to create a place for people to congregate. There's a lot of people who don't go to church, a lot of people who aren't Christian necessarily. I think Christians probably would appreciate non-Christians coming to church.
Absolutely.
It's a step towards conversion.
Yeah.
But I think a halfway point would be we want to do this thing called Saturday morning cartoons. Open the cafe, bring your family, bring your kids, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. or whatever, and there's going to be catering, sandwich, like pancake, sausage, eggs, and the kids can play and watch wholesome content, but then the parents get to meet each other.
Yeah.
We need that in our communities. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.